I bet that you can't solve for x here. Pause here and think about it. Okay, I just wanted you to do some math. Now, some of you may have said 8, and you would be correct, because 8 plus 7 equals 15. Now, I love using bar models or tape diagrams to introduce one-step and two-step linear equations. You see, the top and the bottom are the same size, so we could write this as x plus 7 equals 15. Now, some of you may have solved this by asking yourself, what plus 7 equals 15? And others may have solved this by subtracting 7 from both the top and the bottom to see that x equals 8. Alright, let's do another one. Solve for x here. Pause here if you need the time. Now, did you say x equals 2? If so, you are correct. And believe it or not, you just solved this linear equation by looking at the visual of it. Now, some of you may have solved this by saying, well, all I did was just look at this part over here, x plus 4 equals 6, and that is a great strategy. So when we write it down like this, we can see why a good first step would be to subtract 2x on both sides, because this doesn't tell us anything. This doesn't help us in solving for x. So when we take away 2x from both the top and the bottom, we're left with x plus 4 equals 6. X plus 4 equals 6. And some of you may have subtracted 4 from the top and the bottom to get this picture. And that is also a great first step, because we see that x equals 2. Okay, these are fun, right? So let's do one more. Pause here and solve for x here. So here's one way we can solve for x. We have 3x plus 5 on top and x plus 13 on the bottom. We could subtract x from both top and bottom to have 2x plus 5 on top and 13 on the bottom. Then we can subtract 5 from both top and bottom to have 2x on top and 8 on the bottom. Then we can divide both the top and the bottom by 2 to see that x equals 4. Now, in the classroom, I would have a wider whiteboard, so I would have the representational and the abstract side by side with arrows pointing at each other, so we can visualize what's happening at each step and to make connections. So I love using bar models to introduce one-step and two-step linear equations, because it makes it more like a puzzle. I mean, math is a puzzle, but with the visual, it makes it more accessible. And I did this in the middle school classroom, and they were getting it just by looking at the pictures. And they were able to state the steps they took, and we were able to connect it with the abstract. So I think this is great for an introduction, but it does get a little more challenging with negatives and with parentheses. For those, I would use algebra tiles, but that will be for another video. In the meantime, solve for x here.